Donald Trump is terrified of being booed in Milan at the Winter Olympics game. He has abruptly canceled his trip to Milan. He was supposed to go today to watch the gold medal matchup in hockey between the United States and Canada, but he was too afraid to travel to Milan because, again, he feared the crowd was going to boo him. He feared that the protests were going to get so big and that he was going to be humiliated as he is each and every day right now, but he was about to walk in to see the wrath of the entire world. So what was he doing instead? This is what he was doing last night. He hosted a governors association meeting where he just invited Republican governors who were there. He gave a unhinged speech, which I'll point to you in a moment. But could we just reflect for a moment of some of the latest Carnival scenes in Milan right here, of the types of parades we were seeing? Look at the Donald Trump floats right here. Do you see this one right here? Take a look at this float right here. And here's a scene of some of the protests that have been taking place in Milan, even with Donald Trump's presence not there. Here's what was being reported: that he canceled the trip to northern Italy, according to Italian newspapers and confirmed by multiple other sources. He called off this visit. He was afraid of being booed, and now he's going to be here in the United States. So yeah, he was hosting this governors association thing in the White House, which was one of the most unhinged things I've ever seen. He was signing holy Bibles with his name on it, the Trump Holy Bibles that he sells for like $65. And Nicki Minaj posted that she got a signed Holy Bible with Donald Trump's name on it. Donald Trump was posting images like this instead of traveling to Milan. He said, working with the fantastic governor of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, we are going to send a great hospital boat to Greenland to take care of the many people who are sick and not being taken care of there. It's on the way! Exclamation point. DJT. How deranged and unhinged you are. Greenland doesn't need the United States hospital ships. First off, they have universal health care in Greenland. And by the way, this is like Putin's version of denazification, right? You're just making something up to defame the people and saying, I'm going to fix you, because Donald Trump is a predator. He's a sexual predator. He's been found civilly liable for sexual assault. He's a felon. He's a sociopath. He's a despicable human being. By the way, Orla Jolson, who lives in Greenland, says, no thanks. We in Greenland are healthy. We're doing well, sustained by our own traditional foods, including seal blubber, which is rich in vitamins and nutrients that have kept our population strong for generations. Instead, you may want to focus on the internal challenges in the United States, where many citizens are in need of health care and cannot afford necessary treatment, right? So while Donald Trump has been giving $40 billion to Argentina, and now he's saying he's going to be sending hospital boats to Greenland, he's ripping away health care from tens of millions of Americans here who no longer have health care because he ripped away the Affordable Care Act subsidies. So millions of Americans right now are not going to doctor appointments because they can't afford it, and they're hoping that they don't die. And Donald Trump's response to them, evidently, is that he's sending hospital boats to Greenland, except it's an AI image. And as this account commented, in a post earlier on Truth Social, Donald Trump announced that the United States is sending a hospital boat to Greenland at the request of Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry, who is currently serving as the White House special envoy to Greenland, with the post containing a picture of the USNS Mercy. Only problem is both of the U.S. Navy's hospital ships, the Mercy and her sister ship, the Comfort, are undergoing repairs at an Alabama shipyard in Mobile. In other words, Donald Trump is lying about everything. But as the Patriot Takes account said, so Trump's announcing plans to send hospital boats, but they have universal health care there, while Donald Trump has cut Medicaid and ripped away Affordable Care Act plans here in the United States and has gutted Medicaid. And by the way, if you're on Medicaid, you're probably going to lose it after the midterms, because that's when Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans had the cuts to Medicaid kick in to try to trick you, to make you think that they're not taking it away before the midterms, but they just think you're stupid, and they know, and you know what their real plan is because you watch the MeidasTouch network. By the way, subscribe to the MeidasTouch YouTube. Look how close we are to 6 million subscribers. I think we can hit 6 million subscribers today. So please, if you can, hit subscribe. Help us get to 6 million subscribers. All right, going to that deranged event that Donald Trump held at the White House, the Governors Association. He starts talking about like Melania being a movie star. And he's like, all these governors and cabinet secretaries are like, I should be the president, not him. I should be the president, not him. Okay, here, play this clip.
You know, I told now I can say my movie star wife. Do you believe this? I have to live with now another title. Yeah. She said, well, tell me about the group tonight. I said, well, they're all governors, and just about we have a couple of cabinet secretaries, so we could probably include them. And every time they look in the mirror, every time they wake up or go to sleep, they look in that mirror and they say, I should be president, not him. So I said, despite that, it's a very friendly group. And it really is, too. Many, many friends and very competent people.
Then Donald Trump talks about ballrooms. This is a major priority. Golden ballrooms, apparently. Here, play this clip.
So, and just in closing, I wanted to, you've read a lot. We're building a ballroom for 150 years. They've wanted a great ballroom at here, even a ballroom, not a great one. Just give me a room, because this is a very small room, can hold very small numbers of people. And they've wanted a great ballroom, and we're going to build the greatest ballroom anywhere in the world. There'll be nothing like it. And you're looking right here at the entrance. This is a knockout panel, exactly where the gold curtains are. And when that gets opened, there's a magnificent walkway that goes into what will be the most beautiful ballroom anywhere in the world.
He can't even get the sentence in about Pete Hegseth. I don't even think he knows. I mean, this is not, it's like gibberish what he's saying. Play this clip.
Anywhere in the world, as said by many leaders of the world. And speaking of leaders, we have a great leader, a great military leader named Pete Hegseth, and he is going to say grace. He's a man who turned out to be absolutely fantastic at what he does, and you know what he does. And he's turned out to be an incredible inspiration to the men and women in our military.
And Donald Trump, as he, who's not afraid to go to Milan? Obama. You know who's not afraid to go to Milan? Biden. Who did a better job, YouGov, Obama or Trump? 55% say Obama, 37% say Trump. Who the hell are these 37% of people who saying Trump is better than Obama? I mean, so wild. But anyway, Obama's destroying Donald Trump. More people also feel that former President Biden's done a better job than Donald Trump, 49 to 41%. And as this despicable regime is involved in covering up child sex trafficking rings, I'm going to do a whole other video this morning about the latest filing by Ghislaine Maxwell. She's working with Trump's DOJ to hold up 90,000 documents from being produced, deposition transcripts, witness statements. She is playing the part that Donald Trump wants her to play by moving her over to that minimum club-fed facility at Camp Ryan, Texas. She's doing what Trump's orders, and she's working, and she's been filing documents claiming her own privacy to block 90,000 additional Epstein documents that are highly devastating documents for, in my opinion, for co-conspirators and as such. So anyway, what is J.D. Vance doing right here? Let me show you what J.D. Vance had to say. He spoke with Lara Trump last night, and J.D. Vance is saying that the problem with Democrats, he says, is that they want to let sex offenders stay on the streets of America. Okay, I mean, while these are the actual pedo protectors right here, the Trump regime is the cabal in the Oval Office. Here, play this clip.
It's really not that hard, and it's a huge indictment of Jacob Fry and, frankly, the entire far left, that they made that their cause of the day, letting violent sex offenders stay on the streets of America. The president's just not going to go for that.
Well, the irony doesn't end there, unfortunately, for the Democrats. They've now thrust us.
Then Witkoff. Steve Witkoff, Donald Trump's envoy to everything, who's no experience actually being a diplomat. Here's what he said last night, speaking to Lara Trump on state regime media about Putin.
So hopefully you'll be hearing some good news in the coming weeks.
Well, a lot of this does boil down to Vladimir Putin, and I know you've dealt directly with him. So first of all, what is that like? And how do you, with this position, go into dealing with some of these adversarial people?
He's never been anything other than straight with me. And I say that and I get attacked. but that's an accurate statement. He's told me that this is what his red lines are. You know, Lara, I got attacked for going to meet him 8 times. How would you make a deal with someone on the other side unless you knew where the other person was coming from? I needed to understand what his motivations were, his goals, and so forth. And I actually think that a lot of those meetings now are becoming very relevant. We understand where they are.
Well, notably, there were some devastating strikes on Ukraine by Putin last night. In eastern Ukraine, in Lviv, there was a massive Shahed drone and ballistic missile strike. But air raid alerts were taking place all throughout. I mean, by the way, look how close Lviv is. For those who don't know the map, I mean, look right here, how close it is to other areas in Eastern Europe right here. But you had attacks throughout the Zaporizhia region, Donetsk region. And also this has President Zelensky announced actually in some of the counteroffensive in the Zaporizhia region, Ukraine picked up some territory recently as well. But Donald Trump and Putin are working hard together with Witkoff, with Kushner, in order to try to peel off eastern Ukraine and hand it over to Putin, who's promising Donald Trump a $12 trillion economic deal that is total BS. Also, Don Jr.'s roommate, a guy by the name of Gentry Beach, as it's being reported by Wall Street Journal. He had Don Jr.'s college roommate, who's now a big campaign donor to Donald Trump. He's been in talks to acquire a major stake in a Russian Arctic gas project in Alaska. And he paid, huge amounts of money. Here's a photo of him right here to Donald Trump, huge amounts of donations. And he signed an agreement with the Russian company Novatek in the fall of 2025 to develop natural gas fields in Alaska. This is likely the first deal between a U.S. citizen and a major Russian company, again, it's Don Jr.'s guy, since the Kremlin began to offer the U.S. administration to resume cooperation in the economy. So Alaska projects with Russia in it. I mean, just think about what I'm saying right here, right? A natural gas development in Alaska where Russian companies are coming in and working with Don Jr.'s roommates in order to do that. But folks, Donald Trump wants to wish everybody congratulations. This is the type of email he's sending to his supporters right now. President Trump says, "You hit the jackpot. Join the MAGA Millions Club. Ben, I wanted to personally reach out and be the one to tell you, you've won. Congratulations on your brand new spot in the coveted MAGA Millions Club. Claim your spot now. The radical left, deep state, and fake news tried to stop us. They came after me and you. They wanted to take away our voice, but you didn't let them. You fought through the hoaxes and the witch hunts because you are incredible loyalty." By the way, Donald Trump calls Epstein a hoax. He said the Epstein hoax. Congratulations, he says. Then you click and you have to give him money. By the way, while all of this is going on, the Trump regime is also now threatening all of Europe to remove any European preference in the EU Defense Procurement Directive. So in the EU Defense Procurement Directive, which kind of sets forth the military strategy for the European Union, they set forth a directive that European military supplies and aircrafts and such are preferred over American and anywhere else in the world. Buy Europe first, the way America has buy America first. Europe used to buy America first for Europe, but Donald Trump screwed him. So Europe has now pivoted to a buy Europe first, right? I mean, the Trump regime trashes Europe and says, you're too reliant on the US. You feed off of us. Do it yourself. Why are you asking us for anything? We're going to invade Denmark. We're going to invade Greenland. We're going to invade Canada. The Western Hemisphere is ours. It belongs to all of us. Okay, so Europe said, we hear you. You're talking about building in kill switches for F-35s. That's not a good thing. You're talking about extorting us and extorting Ukraine and withholding supplies. And you told us to build up an army. So we're building up an army. Now you have the U.S. ambassador to the EU. Again, one of the reasons also why Donald Trump's canceling the trip to Milan, because people in Europe freaking hate this guy, hate this despicable regime. The U.S. ambassador to the EU, this is what he writes. The United States opposes any efforts to incorporate European preference in the EU Defense Procurement Directive. We fully support European rearmament and revitalization of the European defense industrial base. However, European preference in the directive would undermine state flexibility. And you need to buy American. Seriously? After you attack Europe? After you launch trade wars against Europe? After you threaten to invade a territory of a European country? Excuse me? That they're not supposed to do that? Again, despicable regime, despicable humans. Judge for yourself. And by the way, look how close we are to 6 million subscribers. Let's hit it right now. Hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you so much.
New Midas merch. Head to store.MeidasTouch.com today and get yourself the best pro-democracy gear and show your support. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.